Human Forward. Randstad.
Hi all, this is Ufuk. I'm working as Managing Director of Randstad Turkey. And today we are together with Zanna. We will be talking about customer centricity and driving from that human centricity, and driving from there we will be talking about relationships of clients, employees, employers. So I would like to give the stage to Zanna. Zanna, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Of course I can. Thanks, Ufuk. I've been in the experience field for, let's say, the last 20 years. And I always say that my reason of being is making sure that companies treat people well. And for me, people is both customers and employees. And what I've been doing, because this is a very soft and vague dream, of course. So what I've been doing the last 20 years is, with the help of my PhD, develop a methodology that can really help organizations, let's say, measure and steer the experience of customers and employees. And the last years, I've also been working with Randstad, and of course, that's how you and I met.
The first thing that I would like to ask to you, so you are really having a specialty on this topic for more than 20 years. So, starting from where should we discuss this topic? Should we start from the customer? Should we start it from, somewhere else? This is the question that I would like to ask you first.
Yeah, I always say I start from the customer. Of course, without a good employee experience, there's no good customer experience. But what I see in reality is that a lot of employees have sort of lost their sense of purpose when working for an organization. It's become a lot of product-centric. I have to do so many calls, so many visits. And when you start with the customers and you truly find, and of course in the case of Randstad, that's candidates and clients, because when you truly understand what drives them, what makes them happy, that's a very easy sort of reconnect with the purpose of the employees. Because they think, to really create a happy candidate, for example, I just need to give him more personal attention. And this is what I love to do in my job. So you can really connect customer and employee. But starting from the outside in, I've discovered it's an easier way to, start the transformation, actually.
So that means your point of view is something like there is no, let's say, contradiction, or maybe we should say a dilemma in between the customer centricity and employee centricity, right? Or
no, exactly. No, I would say even more strongly positive. They absolutely enhance each other.
Yeah, so we tend to focus on one thing, and we should not focus on one thing and just miss the other piece.
No, what I've been creating last year actually is in the experience field. I always like to say there's a lot of nonsense going on, right? It's a hype, and everybody thinks they know something about experience.
Yeah.
But the risk is that nothing is connected. So I've been using what I call the 5 types of experience. Yeah. So of course you have customer and employee experience. But I also have brand experience. Randstad is a brand. What does it mean to work for Randstad? And user experience. If I do something digital, how do I make sure that everything connects? And then service experience. That's a little less relevant to Randstad because you guys don't have a contact center. But for a lot of organizations, connecting the 5 types is what really lacking. It's too much, siloed instead of reinforcing everything together.
This creates another discussion about the branding, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the things that we always discuss with our candidates, especially, or even with our clients. When our clients look for or search for potential candidates, one of the first questions that we ask to them is that, what is good with your company? The first thing that comes into your mind. This is one of the first questions that we ask to our clients, and also one of the first questions that we receive from our candidates. What is good with this company? And that question does not mean what is good with the, let's say, salary, or what is good with the benefits. Mm-hmm. No, the experience actually. As an employee, if I join this company, what will be my experience with my manager, with my colleagues, the peers. So this is always one of the first things that we discuss with the people. And 10 years before, or let's say, even 5 years before, this question was not the top priority. But what we see is, exactly. Actually, especially, let's say, not 5 years, a bit short period, but let's say 10 years, I can say this was not the first of the first questions. So
but then I think maybe nowadays you should start asking maybe a new question instead of the experience. Ask for the why, right? What's the purpose of the company? Why is this company doing what it's doing? And I think even more,
you mean, right?
Yeah. So if for a candidate working for Randstad, but also I think the consultants working at Randstad, you know, why am I here? What's my purpose? Is it to make candidates really happy and find a dream job, or is it something completely different? But that really connects people back to their purpose.
We can build up on that as well. On the other side, what I see is there's a shirt there.
Yes, shirt.
Customer number 10, right?
Do you want me to explain the story?
Yeah.
Are you behind the t-shirt?
Is there?
Are you into soccer? Do you know let's say the top 3 clubs in the Netherlands?
Yeah, of course. But which jersey is that? Is that
PSV?
PSV, right? Yeah.
So when Corona started, and everybody was forced to work from home.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, what can I, with my background, contribute to that?
Yeah.
So I created what I call experience game. So we did a very short 15-minute college every day, and then had them do an assignment, and at the end choose a winner and just have some fun.
Yeah.
And a few people from PSV entered this game, and one of them won the game. And then 1 week later, I just opened my mail, and I found this amazing T-shirt. And the idea, they had to explain it a little to me because the customer part, of course, makes sense.
Yeah.
But the 10 also stands for the X of experience.
That's cool. That is well connected. That's
why it's now always in the background.
Yeah, that is very well connected. So, Zanna, back to our topic, actually. Again, I should ask to you, where should we start and where does it go? The major question is this, about the customer centricity, about our orientation and our major focus, our major approach to our customers, especially during and after this COVID period. How do you see this topic?
I think what's interesting when I look at all so part of the methodology is always using smart statistics to really find what are my latent drivers. So really what's important to my customer and my employees. And to me, what I've always loved is that almost every time the most important driver is, let's say, a little bit on the soft side and giving me attention, a feeling, a sense of purpose, that kind of drivers. And I think that's sort of, maybe it's not shockingly new, but I think so many companies have been driven away from that soft side because of KPIs, because of Mr. Frederick Taylor and the scientific management. So what I try to use often, I say you have three types of transformation. A lot of companies start from a product-centric approach. I have to sell a car. I have to, sell CVs to make it a little black and white. Then they moved about 30 years ago to, okay, that's not enough. We need to understand the customer needs. And that's when customer experience started growing. And nowadays, you already mentioned in the introduction, more and more companies are realizing, yes, the customer is relevant, but hey, that employee is just as important. So now we are moving to more human-centric organizations. And to me, that is sort of my dream goal, to help organizations get there, not with super vague culture programs, but with really smart, insights that really understand, okay, dear employee, in this journey, with this driver, this is where you can make the difference every day.
If you ask me what are the major hot topics are nowadays with this human centricity, is that we see in the market and from the people we hear a lot, and from our surveys as well, people would like to, of course, use technology, and they love to interact with each other with technology using with some digital tools. This is for sure, especially with the new generation, no need to say. However, on the other side, especially for the critical points, they would like to discuss. They would like to get to know each other. This is really critical that we recognize from our candidates, from our clients, and of course from our employees, from our people for sure, and from myself as well. So people would like to utilize the tools, the tech tools, in order to just interact for the non-critical piece of the business. But for the more critical, or let's find some other words, maybe we can say significant things or important topics, they would like to discuss in detail. They would like to talk person to person. So this interaction is still valid, and it is important more than before, because we are all surrounded with the new way of, let's say, communication, new way of approaches to touch each other, to help each other, to talk with each other. So people who would like to pick if it should be a technology piece, or if it is more, let's say, face-to-face thing, then it is more critical to decide. And also what we recognize is that employees would like to feel that, we hear it from our candidates a lot, they want to enjoy their company. This is another thing that is really related to human centricity. They want to enjoy their company, and they want to, let's say, feel that they're taken care of by their employers. Especially during this COVID period, what we have got as a result is that 77% of the people who joined, who participated in the survey, said that we are taken care by our employers. So that 23% of the people, the professional people, are not happy with that. So when you look at the result, 77%, it seems to be good, but there is the rest of that people, 23%, which is a high mobility risk. This is also another topic. So from the, let's say, human resources perspective, I can say this is really critical, especially this experience, this human centricity experience is really important. And for now to the future, from your perspective, how can we match that that human centricity to client, let's say, success? Because not nowadays, for almost 10 years or more than that, now there is a trendy, let's say, title, which is like customer success managers, success.
Don't even get me started, Ufuk.
There are those kinds of things. How is your approach to this?
Well, I always like to be direct, right? I'm Dutch, so if I'm too direct, I'm already apologizing.
That's cool, no problem.
I'm not a fan of titles like a chief customer officer or a chief blah 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 officer. Of course, in the beginning, it might help to get attention, but I think the biggest risk, and I'm making it black and white, I think the biggest risk of that kind of titles is that everybody else in your organization will sort of sit back, relax, and say, oh, but customer experience, that's his or her problem. It's not my problem.
Okay.
So it really creates sort of even more siloed approach. So to me, I think that there are three challenges right now. You mentioned that you like the statistics, and there's a lot of statistics that say that 85% of all CEOs across the globe think customer experience is a top 3 priority. But the last 10 years, only 4 to 8% are considered successful in customer experience, which is a huge gap. And I think that gap is for 3 reasons. One is not knowing the actual drivers of your customers or your employees. The second is, you already mentioned, having fun as well at work. So actually doing something with the results. And I think one of the other topics that's really relevant right now is the whole digital transformation, which has been accelerated hugely by COVID. And I think what's missing there is that you can connect digital transformation to what matters to your customers or what matters to your employees. Just a short example, if that's okay. Let's say you're building a new app for your customers, and the number one driver for your customer is, I want more personal attention. Then you can either say, maybe we don't need an app, which I would not conclude, or you can say, okay, everything that I design with my app, with my website, needs to breathe personal attention. So you use the drivers of your customers as design principles for all the technology stuff you're doing. And then you're connecting it to your brand, what am I promising, the drivers of customers, and create really a human version of digital experience.
It is. It should be more of a holistic view of a company. It should be as
exactly
in the from finance team to maybe back office teams to from the entry of the company. I mean, from top to bottom, from bottom to top. You mean, right?
Yeah. For me, I think the biggest success check is whether you've been successfully integrating that customer human centricity in the daily operation. So that employee in the contact center, does he or she understand what it means? The consultant of Randstad, do they understand and actually integrate it in their daily work? I think that's when you're, as a company as a whole, you will be successful, instead of having a customer experience project manager or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
So it comes to the same topic that we discussed from in the very beginning of the conversation, which is it human centricity or is it customer centricity? Actually, it is both. Actually,
exactly.
You can work with both of them together, and it seems it supports each other. I mean, they support each other, right? I mean, if you have a good human experience within the company, then you will most probably will have a really good customer experience.
Yeah. And the other way around, right? If your employees feel that you're creating happy candidates and clients, in case of Randstad, that makes their day also much more joyful.
Exactly. In our daily life, we live with it. Actually, we see it a lot because our environment. We are really, let's say, an energetic company. It is coming from the nature of the business, of course.
Yeah.
But of course, also we are picking the right people that can energize also the environment as well. So what we see is, for example, if they are good, if our people are good with their clients, they are very happy, and it really affects the mood within the company. For example, if they make a really critical placement for their clients, then that specific day is great for them. And it goes on like that. And of course, the same inside the company, if they feel that they are valued by their people or their peers, their managers, or whoever is in the company, then they feel happier, and of course, they give better service to their clients. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That we feel. And also, I agree with your approach, which is against silo approach. Which the company should be with a holistic view. It should be customer centric. As I said, from top to bottom, from bottom to top. When we receive a call, if that call is received by, let's say, finance personnel, or let's say if it is received by totally from a different division, let's say from a back office, it should be handled in the same way. Customer should feel, hey, okay, this is Randstad or whatever the company is. So building upon that, we can say those silos should be really far away from any kind of organization. Any kind of organization. That's very true. And
it's a bit of a hyped sentence, but I still like to use it. It really should become part of your DNA as a company. It should not be something extra or a project or a program. It really should be. And I think the interesting thing is that when you start discussing it, and this is the reason why I still love working with Randstad. You mentioned your colleagues are super energized. Every time I visit, the different countries of Randstad, as long as I still get goosebumps because I see how enthusiastic consultants are. That's why I still, love to work together. And to me, I think it's not so far off for the employees because they know why they started to work for a company. But it's more that in the organization system, something happened that made everybody lose a little track of that sense of purpose. So the good news is it's very easy to get that back into your organization.
Yeah, and that's good to hear, by the way. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's good. One of the other questions that I have in my mind to ask to you is, what is next? I mean, driving from, especially these days. I mean, now we are having some connections with our clients, maybe more than before. Interestingly, because of digital tools, of course, for sure. But on the other side, what should we expect from now on? Will there be any change with the customer centricity, human centricity?
I think when it comes to, let's say, the essence of customer or human centricity, I think that will not change. I think in the length of years, people will still want to be happy when they work. They want to make a difference in somebody else's life. I think the main thing that will change is the how. Right? So maybe I still think that, personal attention for me as a customer is super relevant. But now maybe the personal attention is not me going to, in Randstad case, going to a branch, but is being able to chat with Randstad or have a super personalized tool that I can use. So I think the principles remain the same. And you need, of course, keep checking whether the drivers stay the same. But I think that will not change that much. But how you will translate that into your digital transformation, I think that will make or break success. That will be the difference whether, okay, everybody's doing something with digital versus, hey, but they really understood it. They are really, translating it to my needs to make sure that I get what I need whenever I need it.
So you basically expect no change except the answer to the question of how, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So basic questions are very important, huh, Zanna? Why?
Yes. Yes.
Why? How?
It's super easy, Ufuk. No, but I'm serious. The essence, I've been measuring those drivers across several companies and even countries.
Yeah.
And, the essence stays the same. We as human beings, the media likes to differentiate us. But I think we as human beings, in essence, are so much the same. We so much have the same needs. It's just a really big challenge from an organization system that has to, steer on KPIs, etc. To, okay, how do I go back to that super basic stuff? I'm always saying it's not rocket science, but apparently it's a big struggle to realize it in reality. That's why it's a brilliant field, Ufuk, because it's super challenging to be creative and find new solutions every time.
That is so true. That is so true. So, most of my questions, I say most because we have a lot to talk about.
We can talk a day.
Yeah, later. But for now, it was very clear and it was a very nice conversation. I don't know if you would like to add something else, Zanna, before we end.
No, I think also that we mentioned the most important topic. So nothing comes up that I said, oh, we really need to discuss this as well. To me, it was also just a nice conversation, and thanks for having me.
That is cool. And thanks for joining. And next time, we're going to repeat it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Different topics. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yes.